Hey, it's Kristin, and I am still up in the Northwoods. We're having a rainy, kind of stormy day. It's actually settling down a little bit, but I wanted to do a video because I can't be outside playing, and I actually had something that I wanted to share with you guys. It's been on my list for a while of something that I want to talk about, and I actually was just talking about it with a client the other day. And so I thought it's something that you guys would find really helpful. And that's all about inferiority and kind of having this inferiority complex. So if you hop on, say hello, let me know you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. If you catch the replay, put replay in the comments, and let me know if you have any questions. So about inferiority complex, it's something that as I started my business, I actually realized that I had this, and it was something, if you can hear it's thundering outside, it's been thundering like all day. But as far as having the inferiority complex, it wasn't until I started my business that I actually really realized that this is something that had been going on for me in my life. Hey, Eliza, how are you? Excited you're here. So this feeling of being inferior than other people around me, and that I wasn't as good as other people, and really like this shows up a lot in our business, and this is why it really forced me to look at this and to see what was going on, because it was really holding me back when I was getting started in my business. And for any of you guys who kind of been following me or know like a little bit about where I got started, it was originally like starting more of a chiropractic and nutrition clinic. And that wasn't necessarily like really aligned with my vision and what I really wanted to be doing. And so as I was doing that, I had to do like a lot of marketing and putting myself out there. I was going to like networking groups and stuff. And I noticed this like inferiority complex like showing up big time for me. And what it did, it brought up a lot of this like, who am I to do this? Like, why would anyone want to work with me? Hey, Donna, glad you're here. What are some of the other things? And like a lot of like self-sabotaging behavior, self-doubt, not really believing in myself and that I could do it. And so these things like really kept me from really putting myself out there and from getting clients to work with me. And like some of the things that would happen is I would go to like these networking events, and I would automatically walk into a room and like put myself below everyone else. Like I thought everyone was like inferior or was superior to me in some way. Like they were smarter or, more attractive or like had things together, or like a big thing for me is being an introvert. Like they were more outgoing, and all of a sudden, like I just kind of like shrunk and felt super uncomfortable, like especially in social situations because of this, and a lot with like networking and growing my business. And so that's where I really started to like recognize this and see this. And it's funny because as I started to see it, I actually, towards the beginning of my business, when I recognized that this was going on, I started to get like all these insights about looking back and actually seeing how this had really shown up for me in a lot of different areas of my life. And so when I looked back, I saw that as someone, I'm sorry, I'm having bad Wi-Fi, Molly. I'm like, hopefully it's not my Wi-Fi since we're kind of having storms. But yes, you can catch the replay later. But so how it showed up for me, like in high school, I had developed, well, it probably wasn't more until college, like an eating disorder. And where I saw this really stemmed was this belief that I was inferior than other people. And especially where this came from was because being an introvert and someone that was quiet, I often felt like I like just blended in. I didn't stand out like in social situations, or when I was like hanging out with groups of friends, like I felt like I didn't get noticed or was just kind of forgotten. And so I started to get like this inferiority complex around that, and thinking like, hey, Amy, that I wasn't good enough, that I had to do something special to stand out, that I couldn't just be myself and be accepted. And that's where I got really focused on like my body image, and like, well, maybe if I get, skinnier. I was never like even really overweight or anything, but I became like really kind of obsessed with this, and was like, how can I make myself stand out? How can I make myself be noticed? Because I felt like I just wasn't. And so when I look back, I can see like this is where that inferiority complex like really stemmed from. And just this feeling that I couldn't just be myself and be good enough as myself. And so as I got started in my business, like this whole thing was like thrown in my face, and I really had to start looking at it. And that's where I started to see that this inferiority complex was actually there, and I hadn't even been aware of it. I didn't even really notice it. I just knew that I always felt uncomfortable in these situations, and it was because I was putting myself under everyone else. I was thinking I was inferior than everyone else. And it was funny. I was talking about this to someone the other day. Melinda saying that this is exactly her. Yeah, a lot of us deal with this. Like I talk to so many clients, and this comes up. So it's really common. And I think when you are aware of it, then you can actually do something about it, and you can start to shift those beliefs around it, so that you don't feel that way anymore, because it's a really, really uncomfortable feeling. And so, what was I saying there? So one thing I want to say, like in my business, actually a couple of years ago, when it was closer to when I was getting started, but I actually wrote an article about inferiority complex, and it was published in Mind Body Green. And so like that was pretty awesome. I was like, yes, like I got an article published. And the funny thing is, like, after I got this article published, I had someone reach out to me from the Dr. Oz show, like found me on social media, reached out to me, and they're like, we're interested in you possibly coming on the show. And I was like, what? Like, oh my God, this is the scariest thing ever. And so I set up like this, they set up like a time to like phone interview me and stuff. And like, I was just like freaked out and didn't know what to say. And this was before I had even done like any videos of my business and stuff. And so even though I just wrote this like huge article on inferiority complex, like that definitely like showed up for me. I'm like, who am I to be on TV? Like, I can't do that. Like I didn't even see myself as someone that could ever even do that. And it's funny because I can say like, as things have gone in my business, like now, like, I'm doing videos and stuff, they're not super scary. And I can see myself, like, if I did get invited like on a TV show or something, like it's something I would actually be excited about now. And I could see myself doing it, as opposed to in the past, I was like, no, like that's not me. I'm not that person. Like I'm not worthy of that. Like I'm not good enough for that, whatever it is. So, things have definitely changed. And I want to really like share with you the things that I think have been like most important for changing that, because when you let go of this feeling of inferiority, hey Brittany, so glad you're here. It's amazing like how much energy it opens up for you and how much possibility. So, and this is definitely what I've realized, because I'm doing things now that I never would have even thought possible in the past, because I was really limiting myself because of this feeling. Like really what it is that I thought I had to be like this like beautiful supermodel and someone who was super popular in order to ever get like the things that I really wanted in my life, because that's like what we're told. I feel like in society and media and stuff, like that we have to be like this version of this person to get what, to be accepted, to be happy, whatever it is. So just kind of realizing that and shifting those beliefs. So what have been the big things that have really changed this for me has been looking at that, like looking at why I did feel inferior. And that's what those big things came up, like being someone who was kind of quiet and introverted, and maybe not being like a supermodel, which I mean, who of us is? So it's like silly when you look at it anyways. But those things really popping up for me. And then I would say like one of the biggest things was stopping looking at what everyone else is doing and comparing myself to everyone. And this is huge when you're starting a business because like we're on social media, we can see what everyone else is doing. It's really easy to start looking at what everyone else is doing and thinking like, oh my gosh, like look at what she's doing, look how long she's been doing it, look at her website, like all this stuff, and really compare yourself and place yourself under everyone else because of that. So I would say number one, like stop doing that. And when you stop doing that, it actually opens up like the space for you to get into who you really are and to realize what it is that you really want. So I would really say like the next step then is to get clear on your vision and what you actually want for your life. This is where like I got so off track because I never even really stopped and asked myself what I really wanted my life to look like what was really important to me, what I really wanted. I was just going through life and doing the motions of what I thought would make me successful in the eyes of society or in the eyes of other people. And so that was like, you know, going to school, like living in a city, you know, becoming a doctor, getting, you know, my chiropractic degree, like all these things, you know, thinking that I had to start like a private practice and be a chiropractor and do things a certain way. And it's like, I wasn't ever even doing me. I wasn't ever even like following my intuition or stopping to ask myself like what I really wanted. I was literally looking at other people who looked successful to me and like copying almost what they were doing because I had no idea what I even wanted myself. Hey, Allie, so glad you're here. And so if any of you guys have been in that spot, like I would love to hear from you and love to hear that you can resonate with that. But you know, that's truly how I lived a lot of my life, was just like kind of going through these motions and not even really stopping and being like, what is it that I really want? Like, what do I really want my life to look like? What do I really enjoy doing? How do I enjoy interacting with other people? What do I want to be doing as my career? And when I stopped and started asking those questions, that's what brought me to coaching. That's what brought me to having an online business, you know, and all these things that like felt so much more right to me and felt like they were allowing me to like live the life I really wanted to be living. And so as I started, this is the other like really big step then, as I started taking action towards those things that I really wanted, so getting clear on what you want and then start taking action towards them, that's when I really started seeing this inferiority complex go away. It was when I got clear on the life I really wanted to be living and taking action to make it happen. Because I wasn't any longer pretending to be someone else, pretending to live this life I didn't really, or I'd say living a life that I really didn't want to be living. Ellie's saying, so she was so good at changing her major. I literally had like 10 different majors, and my undergrad's in interior design. I obviously went on and became a chiropractor and got that degree. And then I am not using either of those degrees right now with what I am doing in my profession. Like I am using them. Like I do believe they're part of my path, but I'm not really using them. So, yeah. So if people like look at that and I'm worried about people like judging me and being like, oh, she's wishy-washy. She doesn't know what she wants. Like she tries one thing and then she jumps to the other and she's never going to just like pick something and stick with it. Like I don't give a shit what people think anymore. Like I'm going to do what I want to do and I'm going to follow that path. And I believe that I get led in certain ways for a certain reason. And the things that I've done, you know, they all had led me to where I am right now, so I'm grateful for all of it. But if we're worried about like what other people think and trying to be seen as being successful by society's standards, you know, really what happens is we're living a life that isn't our own. We're living a life, you know, based on what we think we should be doing and maybe what's like successful in society. And obviously what a lot of us are seeing as coaches too now is like there's a lot of people out there that are doing all the actions of being successful or what is deemed successful, but people aren't happy because they're not really following their true path. So I think there's so much power in that, and when you start to realize that. So Amy saying, that you can relate, the expectations of what a mom should be doing. Yeah, definitely. Like that's a big one. Like, and we have all these roles that we feel like, you know, we should be doing or people expect of us. And even like me, like I'm in my mid-30s, I'm single, I'm not married, I don't have any kids, I don't even know if that's anywhere in the future, and like I could be worried like, oh my gosh, I'm not like checking off all these boxes that I should be doing or is kind of expected of people my age. But really I'm just creating the life that I really want, and I'm really quite happy about it. So there's a huge difference between just doing your thing and being okay with it no matter what it looks like, and not worrying about like following this path that is given to us for society. And that's really where I think like your true power, our authenticity lies. And then that's where you see that inferiority complex like gone, because you're no longer trying to be someone other than yourself. And you start to realize like, I am pretty awesome. Like I have all these cool things to offer, and I'm making a life that I really like. And it totally changes things. So if you can relate to any of that, let me know. Let me know where you maybe get stuck in any of that stuff, or where you find that you're getting stuck. Going to the beat of your own drum, absolutely. Like that is what life is all about. And that is where you find your happiness and fulfillment, and where you find like that alignment is what I would say. So living in alignment, which is awesome. So Elizabeth's saying amen to that. Yeah, absolutely. Like it's truly, and that's why like I love all you guys and all my clients, because we're the ones that are going to the beat of our own drum, like making our own path. I like to say like coloring outside of the lines. That's like one of my favorite ways to say it. But that's how I believe in doing life. Like just make it up as you go. Do what you really want to be doing. And that way you're not inferior to anyone, because you're just being yourself. And that's really where your power lies. So let me see if I had anything else that I wanted to add. I think that was everything on my list. Brittany's saying, trying to be, what are those little emojis? Oh, beat to your drum. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a never ending process. Like I keep learning like more and more and more as I go. Like, so, as far as getting on my own path and being more myself. And one of the things that like I like to keeps coming up for me, and that, I like to talk about too, is if you have your vision for your life and you know what you want it to look like, and you kind of think about like who you are now and what's going on for you, and you can see these places where you hold yourself back, whether it's beliefs or actions you're taking, and you think about the person who you would be, so not being a different person, but the you that would be living in that vision, and thinking about, okay, if I want to be the person that is living that life and living that vision, like what would I need to change? What would I need to be doing differently? And what does that look like? And how can I start being that person and taking those actions that are going to get me to that vision? Because it's really just that, and it's not changing who you are. So it doesn't mean, do I need to be someone else, but being you, but being like that higher version of you, the true you. So taking out the crap that's holding you back, and stepping into being that person. So, because a lot of times when we check into it, we're like, yeah, what habits am I doing, or what beliefs am I believing in that are keeping me stuck? And when you look at that, you can really see clearly. I always do that. I'm like, okay, what am I doing that's not serving me? What am I believing that's not serving me? And look at it, write it down, so that I can let it go. And then what things can I be doing instead that are going to serve me and move me in the direction I want to go? Okay, Allie's saying, okay, this has been a huge one that has come up it comes up all the time, but making your own money and independence. And I think that is really, really important. So I was talking about this, it came up like on a call with some clients, but it's been a big thing for me too. Like, I think there is a lot of, so money is power, right? Power to have our independence, power for freedom, power to do what we want to be doing. And it isn't necessarily about the money, but it's about the experiences and the things that money can buy, because let's, face it, like we need money to be living the life we really want to be living. And so making your own money, there's a lot of power to that. And it is about independence and it's about freedom. And I think it's really important to us, and especially like for a lot of people that are in relationships and a lot of times with women, especially, like sometimes we kind of give up that power, maybe to our significant other. And then we end up feeling stuck or trapped, and we're kind of taking away some of that independence or that freedom. And for those of us who are really called to start a business, it's like, oh, I could just go get a job and get that money too. But when you are called to start the business, I think there's really something to that as far as you being in charge of making your own money and not getting money, like getting like a paycheck or whatever. Like it's a totally different feeling. It's a totally different, like, other step into like your power and what you're capable of doing. And it feels really different, in a really good way. So there's a lot of independence and freedom to that. And I think, letting go of the misconception that actually having a job and being employed is more secure and stable. And it's not, because there's people that lose their jobs like all the time or get laid off. So we can really get that same, security, stability in our own job. So it's just shifting that belief around it, right? Because we've been told like, oh, starting your own job, like, what if you fail? What if it doesn't work? Blah, 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 blah. And we start thinking about all that. But what if you change that belief? What if it was like starting my own business, like I'm putting the power in my own hands. I have control over what happens and I get to decide. I'm making the decisions. I decide how much money I make. I decide how many hours I'm putting in and how hard I don't want to say how hard I'm working, because I don't believe that like working harder is better, but I decide, how much focus I'm putting into my business or not. Ellie's saying like, oh, it works. Brittany's saying being trapped because of finances. And, so this was something that came up in a call with my group of clients the other day too. And I have been in that spot, feeling trapped because of finances and in a relationship and that whole situation. And I will tell you, it was like the worst feeling in the whole world, and feeling really powerless. And so I think for us, all as individuals, like it's really important to have our own income, to be making our money, to feel like we can take care of ourselves, and that our finances, like that we feel secure and stable in that way. It's super important, and to be able to do it in a way that feels really good to you. So if you're called to be an entrepreneur, like I don't think it's really an option. It's like something we're called to do, and that if you're called to do it, that it's absolutely 100% possible to you. So the biggest thing is just sticking with it and being like, I'm gonna make this work, and you will. So I have no doubt with that. Melinda, let me see what you're saying. It's seeing it. Oh, okay. So Melinda, this is a really good one. Yeah. So Melinda's saying like feeling like that you need to be a totally other person than yourself in order to be successful in your business. And that's exactly what I thought as well, because when I was getting started in my business, I was looking at what everyone else was doing, right? So I was looking at like all these other people who, like you're probably familiar with other coaches, whether you're being like a health coach or like when I was doing business coaching, looking at all the other business coaches, and they're all like in their fancy dresses, like, getting these photo shoots and getting their makeup done. And I'm like, that's not me. Like, I mean, that's not even me. Like and I thought I had to be that person in order to be successful in my business. And, I really thought that like when I was envisioning myself as being successful in my business, I was envisioning me being like them instead of me envisioning the version of me that would be successful in my business. So it is just like a bit of a mindset shift, but you can be successful as being you in your business. And the other thing that I would say around this too is that when I think about it, like my clients are looking for someone like me to work with. They aren't looking for that person who is like on their website holding a glass of champagne and in their heels and bright red lipstick on or something, you know what I mean? Like, that's not me. I'm the person that's like out in nature hiking and that stuff, because that's me. Those are the things I enjoy. And so the same thing goes with you. Like, your client isn't looking for, your ideal client is looking for you. They're not looking for someone else. So you don't need to change who you are to be successful in your business. It's more of a matter of learning what you need to know as far as the tools and the systems, and then you being more you and tapping into what your gifts are as a coach, or a healer, coach, healer, leader, and knowing, really recognizing where your strengths are. And that's actually something I absolutely love to help my clients do, because it makes a huge difference when you get really clear on what your strengths are and what you're really good at helping people do. That's huge. So let me know if that helps, Melinda, because I totally get where you're coming from, and I have been there as well. So I get that. Like, it's not about you changing who you are. It's about you becoming the best version of you. You becoming more you. You taking out the shit, like taking off the mask, and speaking from your heart, speaking your truth. One of the good questions to ask is, if you're in your business right now, like, what am I hiding that my ideal client really needs to hear? Because the more we can speak from our heart, the more we can speak the truth, the more we're going to connect with our clients, and people are going to want to work with us. And the same thing, like doing this video, like it's kind of vulnerable a little bit. Like, I'm talking about my inferiority complex, so it's talking about the things that make us a little uncomfortable, talking about the things we struggled with, because that's real. That's what people relate to. Other people are looking for connection. They're looking to know that they're not alone in feeling these things that we feel. Like, we're so used to seeing everyone putting on this persona of, I'm perfect, this is my perfect life. Like, nobody's posting pictures on Facebook of them like struggling and having a hard day, and talking about the things that they're going through in their life that suck. We're all like putting on like kind of our social media presence that we want other people to see. So we get so used to seeing everyone's like persona that they're putting out there, and then we're comparing it to, so we're seeing like everyone's front door, right? Like, and we're comparing it to what's going on inside our house, which is, all the shit that we all go through and everyone is going through no matter what. And so we got to remember, like, what we're seeing or what other people are presenting isn't the real story or the whole story. It's just, that persona that people are putting out there. Allie's saying Facebook crops out all the shit. Yeah, absolutely. Like, people aren't out there, like, I mean, some people are, but most people are not out there, like, talking about what's really going on. So Liz was saying, opening up our hearts to reach ideal clients' hearts. Absolutely. Like, it's all about like that strong communication and really speaking from your heart. That's what people are looking for. And they're looking for connection. Number one, people are looking for connection. They're looking to be seen, understood, heard. And from speaking from the heart, like that's how you allow that to happen. Oh, I'm so glad you found it helpful, Liza. Melinda's saying she's hiding everything. Okay, so Melinda, you got some journaling to do, all right? So about like who you really are, what you really want in life, like truly journal on these things. It's going to help you so much. Like, who am I really? The truth of who you are. What are you really capable of? Because I know when you like dive down deep into that, we all know that we are capable of anything that we really want. That's your truth, 100%. So what are the beliefs that are active for you that are holding you back from that? Like, what beliefs do you have that are holding you back from being your true self, from putting it out there? And what is it that you want? Like, what do you want in life? Like, what do you want to be experiencing? What does your ideal life look like? And getting really clear on that, because that's going to really help you as well. Allie's saying journaling's a game changer. Yeah, And yeah, because that's something I talk about a lot with my clients, like journaling, because it makes such a huge difference. Getting thoughts out of your head down onto paper and actually writing them, like versus typing, there's really like a magical process that goes on when you do that. And it's really helpful. I journal every day. And it really helps as far as like opening up the gates as far as creating content, whether you're like writing posts. Like right now, I'm actually really liking doing videos as opposed to writing posts. As you can see, this is like my third or fourth video in a row, which is kind of a new record for me. But that's the thing too, like allowing it to be what you want it to be as far as how you're putting content out there, how you're marketing. There's really no right ways, but when you really tap into like what's true for you and what you enjoy, that's where your best stuff comes out. So let me know if you guys have any questions at all. If you catch the replay, let me know, and let me know if you have any questions. If you're feeling stuck with like this inferiority complex and not really seeing like your true gifts, what it is that you have to offer, how you can step into being more of you and putting that out there, send me a message, comment below, like let me know, and let's find a time to talk about it, because this is something that is like so true to my heart, something that I have been through myself. Like I get it. And through going through this process, like that is what has opened up everything for me as far as being able to be myself, being confident. Really like that confidence piece is huge in all areas of my life, like with friends, with like going on dates, with being in my business. Like I am just confident just being myself now. I don't feel like I have to try to be anyone else. I don't feel like I have to impress anyone. This is me. You can take it or leave it. And so that's what I want for everyone, because it's really freeing, and it's what allows you to really shine in your business and get clients and get that income coming in as well, so that you can be doing your coaching full time. So if you feel stuck with any of that stuff, definitely reach out to me, send me a message, and we can talk about how you can move forward through some of that stuff. So that's what I have for you guys today. You can probably hear it. It's raining again. I'm going to maybe give you like a little quick view. I'll turn you guys around. Yeah, so this is the rain we're getting. It's like supposed to rain all day, but I'm actually finding it really peaceful. I've had a lot of days of sunshine, so it's kind of a nice, like, relaxing rainy day, drinking lots of tea, doing a little work. So thank you everyone that joined me so much, and everyone that was participating. Like, I love all you guys, and I love talking about this stuff. So Priscilla, what you're saying, I just recommended journaling for someone who's going through anxiety. Yeah, absolutely. Journaling helps with everything. It really, really does. Like, journal. Do it every day. Just make it part of your daily routine. It's super, super powerful. Awesome. So thank you everyone so much that joined me, and I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your Friday. Allie's saying yeah. And a great weekend as well. And I will talk with all you guys soon. Bye.